Hi, this is Mark with Love Happy Podcast episode number 7. I hope you'll enjoy this. I'm here with a person from North Jersey, and I'd have to say not just North Jersey, but a very classic area of North Jersey. I'm a blue-collar guy, and the whole area we lived in, he's from Wallington, I'm from Clifton. And there was Garfield and Lodi and Hasbrook Heights and Patterson and Passaic, and those areas were where men like myself would build communities and try to get by. So I ran into this gentleman because he was going to kind of help me organize my office, but then we got into kind of a deep conversation, and I'll let him introduce himself to you. He's a great guitar player as well.
Thank you. My name is Jim.
Okay.
We'll go with that. Hit me with some questions, man. Let's go.
What's on your mind right now?
Right now? I can't believe I'm sitting in your office playing my guitar. It happened pretty quick.
Yeah, it happened pretty quick.
Yeah, but I like that part of life.
Yeah, spontaneity is really good. So we kind of got into a conversation, and I did my usual streetwise interviewing of you, and I said, "So what's your story?" And you kind of broke into, what was going on in your life. You're in Asbury now, which is near Belmar, where our studio is, and I said, "Well, why would you be doing freelance?" So I'll let you take it from there. I mean, what's up in your life right now, and where you been?
The reason I'm in Asbury, and the reason I'd be doing freelance is because I'm not rooted, kind of rootless. It's been 8 years now. It's been like I had many allegories, many ways to describe it, but it's been like in a washing machine, and sort of, or like it's a spin cycle, constant, just moving, not staying anywhere, and not building anything. Mm-hmm. Having everything get blown up in a relationship, having a kid attached, it just sort of shot me out into space in a way.
Right. So, I can imagine. You love her. You love your kid?
I love my kid. Yeah, love her.
And do you feel like you spend enough time with her? Or?
Absolutely not. So I'm going to be moving. My plan is to, in the next few months, is to work my ass off, hustle.
Right.
We talked about, and then move back up to North Jersey to be near her.
Right.
Because I left not to be not near her, but left to get away from my mom, figuring that would cure my ills. Do
you think your wife was bringing you down?
No, she was never my wife. We were together for a long time. No, I just, we had a not classic, I'm sorry. That would be the wrong way to put it. We had a very unorthodox relationship. She was much younger than me, and we were together for a long time, and then the pregnancy happened, and it wasn't planned. We were breaking up as it happened. I was done. I was moving on.
You know how many kids are out there in the world like that?
Oh yeah.
Those are the real love child.
Yeah, and I love my daughter, so I'm glad. It's one of those things. It's taken me 8 years to come to the realization that it's like a riddle. My life's felt like a riddle. Like without having my daughter, without being this, I wouldn't have been in this. But to have her, It's like one of those things where it's like not a riddle, more like do you remember when we were kids? Those Chinese. The handcuffs?
Yeah, the handcuffs.
You can't.
Stick your finger in and
Stick
you
your
can't
finger
get
in
out.
and you keep pulling harder and harder. It's not pulling up when you relax.
Sure.
And let go. Like I'm just at that point now. Funny meeting you, Mark.
Yeah.
I guess you can edit that out.
No.
Where I'm just relaxing now and ready to start
everybody
life.
knows who I am.
Build life again. Start life again and build a home.
Let me ask you this. If you were to play something for your daughter right now, or just because you love her so much, what would you play?
Just anything?
Yeah, anything that makes you as a dad want to give to her, even if you were just on a stage and you're thinking of her. What are you going to play?
Probably, I'm going to try one of the few songs I could probably pull off right now, being so rusty. And I am rusty. It's almost it's a Beatles song. And I don't know how well I'll quit, but I'll give it my,
I'm sure you'll be fine. You know what? If I was your daughter, I'd like anything you played. And that's the way kids are. As I explained, I got my daughter's little child seat next to me in my office that I never let go of,
I've just seen a face, I can't forget the time and place where we just met. She's just the girl for me. I want all the world might have looked the other way, and I'd have never been aware. But as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. La 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 la. Falling, I think I'm falling. She keeps calling me back again. I have never known the likes of this. I've been alone and I have missed things and kept out of sight. Other girls were never quite like this. La 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 la. Falling, yes I have fallen, and she keeps calling me back again. Calling me back again. I've just seen a face, I can't forget the time, the place where we just met. She's just a girl for me. I want all the world to see we've met. La 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 la. Falling, I think I'm falling, and she keeps calling back again. Falling, I think I'm falling. Oh, and she keeps calling me back again. Oh, falling, I think I'm falling, and she keeps calling me back again.
You know, that's one of the most appropriate songs I've ever heard for a child, because let's put it this way. I always tell my daughters when they're screaming and hollering at me, or I'm taking their cell phone when they were kids, or when they say, Dad, you're pathetic, I don't like your politics, or whatever, and I tell them, you can't hate me, I'm your father. And it's so true.
Yeah,
and
I went through a bit of that this weekend with her. She's awesome. Basically, start my life over today. I know it sounds a little mystical, but I had a long conversation with a friend. She got me on the Craigslist. She said one of your links is one she sent me, and I just started hitting them. I made a bunch of calls before.
Good.
I've done this before. I've started over before. I'm expert at starting over.
Me too.
I'm good at building things and keeping, but that's what I'm working at. I need to create a home for myself and for her.
Well, you know, you're Vogue, man, because the whole business world is talking about how failure is so important.
You know? I have a PhD in that.
You know, and so do I. You know, I've invented a lot of things. I've been up, I've been down, I've been rich, I've been poor.
See, I never attained those sides, but that's what I'm working.
It doesn't matter, man. What the most important thing I've ever done in my life is
I've been rich. I've never been.
Right. No, but I achieved being a good dad. I can't do much else except be a great dad.
It's the best job I've ever had.
Yeah, it's a great job, and you know what? The other part of the child, you come together with, believe me, because if you truly love her or any child, it's just all going to come together. But you know, you go back to the word love. Love is everything.
It is. Family. Love and family.
It's everything. You know, people always accuse me. They're like, oh, you're still in love with your ex-wife. I'm really not. I just really respect her because, my God, how did I get these 3 kids, you know?
Yep.
So let's talk about, like, you know, you and I kind of shared our own experiences, and I don't mind being very public with mine. You know, yeah, I definitely was addicted to go-go bars when I was younger. I had no sexual experience before I got married, except with my wife. So I found myself in and out of those Wallington go-go bars and Patterson go-go bars. And, I don't know what the hell I was searching for, but, you know, all the symptoms of a compulsive behavior were definitely there. How about for yourself? You said you got into some stuff. You want to share with us?
Well, like we talked about with the drinking, like I have never had, you know, it's never gone over the top for me. And the drugs were years ago, but I've had issues. They've flashed up and up. But gambling's been the worst part for me. And I'm good at it sometimes. You know, I'm good enough to be good at it. I've been using it to just beat the living shit out of myself. So that's, if there's a compulsion I've had, it's sort of really good at beating myself up.
Let's talk deeply about gambling and the choice. Like, when was your first time you experienced
Oh, I'd always gambled on and off in my life. Always loved it. Always had fun with it, but it was never like I never had a problem with it.
Was it sports gambling?
Or no. Poker or casinos or whatever. I could just take it or leave it. Like I never had an issue with it. Like I won as much as I lost. Sometimes I'd win some more, I'd lose, but it was never a problem until this stuff happened with, this relationship. It's weird. I don't know what to set it off. I guess it could have been alcohol, could have been drugs. There's addiction issues in my family. Like there is on both sides of my family. There's addiction.
Well, you have those cultures, the Polish culture you were saying.
It's not even it's not the culture. Well, the Polish part, yeah, that's in there. I mean, the drinking, it's pretty rock. It's any Eastern European culture. The drinking is there.
Right.
My theory on that is the same as my theory on what, and you know a lot of Polish people.
I know a ton of Polish people.
And they're some of the greatest people you'd ever meet.
Unbelievable.
But if you saw them on the street and you didn't know them, they wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire.
Right.
If they don't know you.
Right.
If they know you, they'll give you the shirt off their back.
Right.
And feed you and whatever you need, if you know them.
Right.
But because they grow up, where they grew up, through Russia, straight through that. It's very harsh.
Yeah.
Area. The drinking, the winters, that's desolation. It's all part of it. It's all.
Yeah. Well, the Poles had a lot to deal with. I mean,
and they've had a rough 1,000 years. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they've been judged because of World War II, them turning their backs and letting the annihilation of the Jews. Mm-hmm. I've been to Auschwitz myself.
Have you?
Yeah. I mean, in 2007, I think I saw a swastika etched into the bus stop in Poland, but. That's a young kid probably just being stupid.
Anger.
Yeah. But I mean, I've had good experiences and bad experiences with Polish people. We used to have our Christmas party.
Oh, yeah. There's some nasty Polish people.
Oh,
that's everybody.
Everybody.
Italians, Mexican, anyone. You name it. There's good and bad. There's good and bad. For me, personally, I grew up, like I said, there's a lot of addiction and a lot of mental illness on both sides of my family.
Do you think addiction goes with mental illness?
Of course it does, yes.
It's like a medicine.
Addictions are either used for two things. You're using it for one of two ways. So it's to destroy yourself or to fill a hole. Mm-hmm. And generally, when you start filling a hole with addiction, you're on your way to destroying yourself, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, so there's both. Like my grandfather on my mom's side was a hardcore alcoholic. I mean, hit my mom's brother as well. And they both died. I think it was 1968 and 69 on the same day in December, a year apart.
Wow.
And my uncle was young. He was in his 20s. My grandfather was older, but my uncle died in a park by himself. I'm not sure, one of the parks somewhere in that area.
In
Wallington. My one uncle's had mental issues on the other side. My father, who died when I was a kid, was in Vietnam. When he was rotated back here, he was there during the Tet Offensive. Yeah. So he went through that. He was based around Ton Sonut, and he had a mental issue where they couldn't find him for weeks, and they found him in a hotel room, and then he had to go through the Air Force's version of counseling in the early 70s. But so I've had it. There's a lot of it on both sides of my family.
Yeah.
Now for me, it's like fuck it. Like there's a thing in rehab they'll tell you, if you don't smoke, you won't go broke. But for me, I don't know why. Choosing gambling as my addiction is, I don't know if it's addiction because I'm not addicted to it. I don't know how to explain it. Using it as my
self-destructive
means of choice was the safest way for me in a sense, because with the drugs and alcohol, I've had enough experience with them myself where I was coming to the outer edges of what is appropriate in my early 20s, and stuff. And again, through the band, when you're in bands, you drink. It's part of the culture. Drinking, and we drank a lot, our band. But we all did, everyone did. We're late 20s, touring, you drink. It's just part of the deal.
So we talked about the Polish culture, and then
the band stuff.
The band. Now we're into the band culture, but it wasn't the Polish culture that brought the drinking into the band. Maybe it's the music culture.
No, it's music culture. Yeah,
the music culture.
Most of my friends, we all just drank. Everyone in the band just ended up being a bunch of hard drinkers. But we did, like I said, we didn't, And within that, the other guys that went on to have successful careers, they don't have DWIs. I don't have DWIs. For gambling,
not yet. You don't.
I'm not gonna.
Good.
It's not gonna happen. No. Like when I said to you on the phone, just so I could backtrack, so you understand.
Yeah, sure.
I don't have an alcohol problem. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a drug problem. Gambling, where I'm getting at, and it's not justifying or anything. Like, I'm pragmatic enough to know what the alcohol and the drugs were. Those are fast ends.
That's cool.
Quick. I've seen it. I've been around it. I was around a lot of addiction in Wallington, of kids and friends. Mm-hmm. When I was going to high school, it was 10 years before you.
Yeah.
And it was heavy partying when you were in high school. When I was in it, was like insane.
Yeah.
as well. It never got easy, better. It just got worse. It was nutty, like the amount of the things I saw growing up, insane, the alcoholism and the drugs, just amongst teenagers.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the worst thing you saw as a teen?
The worst thing I saw as a teen, honestly, it's funny. It was in, County Park in Wallington.
Yeah.
I grew up on the top side where we walked down the stairs. Mm-hmm. There's two kids were smoking angel dust. Mm-hmm. They used to drive up, drive straight up the bridge, go into Harlem and get angel dust, which I've smoked once. And back then I was like, holy shit, never again. It was so insane. I mean, smoking pot was one thing. Right. Doing coke was one thing. Right. Which was where there was a lot of when I grew up. But then the heroin was creeping in, and then the angel dust. I saw kids, they were lighting styrofoam shit on it, and they were burning their fingers. They didn't even realize it.
Oh, my God.
And this was sitting outside, right by the pond at night.
Yeah, yeah.
We used to hang out all over the park, and there was like the daily cops chasing us.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I saw some nasty shit growing up. So what I'm saying is, like, for me to choose a path to my self-destruction, I chose the one that is kind of like a little more pragmatic. It's money. Like I can lose it, make it, lose it, make it, lose it, make it. With alcohol and drugs, the things I've seen, if I pushed with that addictive, I wouldn't even be sitting.
What do you think the solution is? If you recognize you have an addiction, what's the solution?
The solution for me?
For other people.
For anybody?
Let's say you're going to give advice. Okay, hey man, you got
just
yourself an addiction.
Limits. I mean, I'm a good poker player. If I want to go and play poker and win money, I can. Generally, I'll go and I'll just get into these fucking zones and funks and just lose all my money. Mm-hmm. And then once I've lost all my money, I have no money, and then I'm fucking desperate, But I can beat myself up with it. It's the same as if you were an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. Same as if you bought a whole bunch of booze and you ended up in a motel and you drank for 4 days and nobody could find you and you lost all your money in relationships.
Right.
It's the same thing. It's just with gambling. For me, it's like I just do it. I never did it flame out versions of it. Mm-hmm. Other people have. I don't know. I can only speak from my own experience. And I know, my mom was a pretty good self-saboteur,
You learned her methods.
I learned very well from her. My sister did as well. We've had to deal with that for our lives.
What was she into? What was mom into?
She had money issues. It was never like addiction like that, but she just had she constantly created problems for herself. She's gone now, unfortunately.
I'm sorry.
And I love her very much, but
I'm sure you do.
She had a rough life.
Yeah.
Rough life, rough growing up. Lost my dad when my dad died when he was 28.
Oh my God. So you didn't know your dad?
73. I never knew my dad. No.
Oh man.
So yeah. So losing my family this time, I lost one version of my family. Then we ended up with a stepfather who was him and I just never got along. We're like two rams, and I was a smaller ram.
Right.
Less formed.
Right. So he was kind of brutal and.
Yeah, and he was a cop too. It was a pretty brutal relationship. Kind of rectified some shit at the end, but it doesn't change the
pain that was left behind.
The pain and the anger and the growing up without a dad just sucked.
Yeah.
And I was the only one. It's funny because now I've had some issues with my friends in the last couple of years. Some relationships, I'll have to mend a lot of relationships, family and friends. But it's like I'm in the when I could tell you the minority. All my friends got married. Some of them have kids, some of them don't. Nobody's getting divorced. I don't have anyone to go. I never had anyone to go through this with. I was the only one. So
right. Well, I can tell you right now, the people listening to this, you're not the only one.
No, I know. But in my, in my social circles, that didn't help. So anyhow, I'm done with it all. I'm ready to start. I'm not exactly ready to start dating just today, but soon, when I get my hair cut, trim the beard, I have some cash in my pocket.
I'm not interested in you, but you don't look that bad.
Thanks, man.
So let me ask you this: if you were going to send a song to a girl, talk about Love Happy a little bit. The whole concept is sound. Instead of, get a little deeper with people. Hear what they're about, like the way you're sharing. So we have it so that you can send a voice message to somebody, but then we have it that you can send a song. And by the way, musicians can sell their music on Love Happy. So you have an original song, you upload it, and then people, we promote it and we say, listen, buy this song. 40% goes to the musician, 60% goes to us to manage everything, and highlight the lyrics of the song so that somebody gets what you're trying to say to them. If you don't have the creative skill of a songwriter.
What would I send of a song?
Yeah, what would you send?
Put me on the spot. I don't know. Probably something like a Marvin Gaye, definitely a Motown.
Well, what about your own stuff? You ever write your own music?
Yeah, but no love songs. I never wrote a love song. I wrote heartbreak songs, breakup shit, which I wouldn't want to send.
Let's hear a heartbreak song.
Oh man, I don't know if I can even remember anything right now. I'm sang one of my own songs in months.
Well, I'm sure you remember one.
I have one that's pretty brutal, but I know I won't remember it. It's one of the newer things I'd written, so I didn't.
You know what? This might be a great place for you just to kind of relieve.
No, I mean, like, I don't think I'd remember the lyrics or get through the song.
Well, let's hear the chords.
I'll sing as much of it as I can. Right. I need my capo, though.
How can I help you? What can I give you?
No, I'm good. I just needed this.
Oh, to clamp.
It's in a different key.
Yeah.
And I haven't played it in about 2 years.
I wouldn't give up on music if I were you.
You know what? I had to put it down for a little bit. I've never put it down for this long. And I know it's not good for me, so bringing my guitar here, when you asked, I was like, fuck yeah.
Huh, good.
Putting the goddamn thing in the case, and I'm taking it out of the house in months, so.
Yeah. So the concept with Love Happy, number one, Marvin Gaye, Beatles, they're all great songs, but I believe strongly that we've lost the news and we've almost lost the original music. But I want to bring back some music that either makes people cry, makes people laugh, makes people dance, or makes people fall in love. And sometimes a heartbreak song will make you fall in love.
Probably if I could remember the first words, it would push me back into it.
Who's it about?
It's about the
wife?
Yeah.
All right.
It's called This Song Is Just a Wish. It's the name of the song.
Make it up as you go.
I'll get through as much of it as I can. Yeah, this song is just a wish. Country life, not for sale like bait and switch. Like a fairy tale. Something like that. Oh, that dream was mean, black, red, dead. City dreams and substitutes, like dirty news. Jump, said how high, told me to kill, said love's trash, sold me out. She had no doubt. That's about as good as I can get it for you, man. That's about all I can remember.
Definitely a songwriter.
Oh, yeah. I've been a songwriter for years.
You definitely have a lot more than you realize. So I want to talk to you about like where we grew up and the type of people that we saw. And, was there any inspiration from the guys like me that just kind of like grinded through life day after day?
Musically?
Was there any inspiration for you seeing jerks like me going to work every day?
No. I was a jerk too, so like I was living there, I wasn't better than anyone. I desperately wanted to get out of the area.
Right.
So when I was 19, I was having problems with my parents. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to make music. I moved down to New Brunswick, and it was like getting out of jail, being in paradise. And to that point of just being around people like-minded,
right?
And New Brunswick at that point was really hopping musically.
Right.
Yeah. So seeing a guy like you and the guy I was, the guy that I could be, and I didn't want to be then.
Right.
It was like I just wanted to escape that more than or getting inspired by it.
Yeah.
Now I have great, respect and admiration for people who stick it out, put a business together, and do it because it's something I want to do. It's something
you can do it.
Well, I want to get to.
Yeah, you can. Still
I just basically, not shooting my own feet off, toes off, because they keep growing back. But there's a point. And I don't want to do it anymore. I just want to fucking live life and create a home for my daughter and myself.
Well, that's where I was. At 25, I was a father, and I felt this intense responsibility, and still do. I'm struggling to pay the Seton Hall bill now.
Oof.
It's like I got $2,000 left on this semester. I don't know. I think I missed a lot of life. And I think maybe I wouldn't have had as many heart attacks if I
it's a lot of stress.
Smoked pot and got high and or I would have walked into a train or something, God forbid, So, everybody takes a different course, but I don't think my evening would be this interesting if I didn't run into a guy like you that felt like he's made mistakes, So, maybe we feed off each other. I'm not really
absolutely.
quite sure. So, what do you think of our app? I mean, that's why I'm doing these podcasts. I mean, you haven't seen it, but
I haven't seen it. I think it's a pretty fucking cool idea. I mean, I the last dating app I ever used was OkCupid.
Oh, yeah.
And this was right after my ex and I, broken up for the 75th time. And I found out she was, doing this and that and the other thing. And I was determined to get out there and do things. Right. And I did for a while. And then I stayed in Montclair. We lived blocks away from each other. And I stayed in the apartment we'd gotten together before it all blew up. Mm-hmm. So just all those things.
Yeah, a lot of heavy weight on the memories and stuff.
Yeah, and then and I don't know, you have a PhD in this as well, and as well as I do, and it's one thing that I never wanted to have, but that drop off, drop off. I'm still not good with it. It still sucks.
Yeah.
Back then it was like hellish,
Yeah.
I have a story idea that I may write. I'm not much of a writer. Songwriter is different when you write, 30 words. You can spring out through a 3-minute song, and they don't have to even connect or make sense. But you think of the ritual across the country from coast to coast and end to end, up in north and south. Sunday nights, it's mostly Sunday, the drop off.
Yeah.
You think of how many, women and men are doing, mostly men, because we mostly get caught in the other side of it, where you don't have custody or whatever. But
right.
It's like that ritual,
Yeah.
Nobody thinks of that Sunday night, think about football during football season or whatever, or rest. Yeah. So a whole lot of us are getting in cars with that stress, and that fucking hellish feeling, and that feeling in your gut where you're not going to see your kid for a week.
Yeah. I have to say that I'm totally used to, for the last 20 years, eating alone, 100% alone. And I miss my kids, all the time because, they're me, they're part of me. But the drop off, honestly, no offense, Maureen, but she was never that nice to let me have them on the weekend. I'd always have to go there.
Oh, you didn't have every other weekend?
No, I would just kind of go there constantly. And my kids, only my youngest one, she said, Dad, I'll come down to your house. But the other ones wouldn't because they just wanted to always respect their mom so much and didn't want to anger her. So, but shit, I'm a great father. That's all I can tell you. And I'm sure you are too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to enforcing myself into being a better one. With the love part and the support part, no better dad than me. But the providing part, I've had issues with.
That's gonna come your way.
That's coming my way.
You're sitting here with me, right? So I'm telling you right now, I don't want to brag, but anybody that gets to know me does well. That's all there is to it.
You got it. I have it too. It's the bulb, but I've let it dim. I've dimmed it myself, but you have the energy, and I knew it the second we started talking on the phone. So that's why I'm here.
I think I'm success is not difficult.
Not fucking it up is the difficult part.
Yeah, not fucking it up. Right. Exactly. I think the most difficult part is, Jesus, can I get a little satisfaction? Why can't I just meet a woman that I can go to dinner with and I don't have to feel on edge with? I mean, it's ridiculous at this point.
Yeah, that's what we're going back to how we got this. And you asked me about your app, and then I was talking about OkCupid. I went out on the dates. I didn't particularly like OkCupid. It was very clinical and horrible.
Right.
That's the thing about, and I don't know much about dating sites.
Right.
I won't tell you that I do, but if I was going to design one and be involved with one, it would be like the way you're more soulful and warm, sort of.
Right.
It's hard meeting women.
Yeah.
When you get older, it was easy when I was younger. Now, I'm going to need some help. So.
I kind of like the women's idea that they want to change us a little bit to make us a better man, or do they just want to change us to kind of mess with our heads? I'm not
depends.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, and here's the thing I know, and you probably know this to your core and your soul. You could see it with friends, family, and yourself. You met the woman you met,
right?
And I met the woman I met, and for whatever reason, it didn't work out. And for me, I don't know, I don't know how bad it was early on for you. You didn't really get in much, but I've been pretty open about how horrible it was for me. When you meet your soulmate, it doesn't mean it's going to work out.
Right.
And you see it all the time. You see guys, they'll talk about like my wife, like this, like, Christ, I wouldn't even know where my ass, is and my nose ends without my wife.
Right.
And 99% of the time, if they say that, they're in a great relationship. They met that person. They've become one thing more than just two people sort of cohabitating in space.
Right.
The opposite of that sucks. I've been through the opposite of that. And it breaks you apart, rips you apart. Like I remember when I was I had this really cool job for a few years ago. I was working on craft services, which is a food part of the TV and movie industry. I was so miserable over this. This is like probably a year after we just finished for good.
Right.
2013, 2014.
Right.
And I remember texting her, and we still text a lot, but I would pour out my heart and soul, even though it didn't mean fucking anything to her.
Right.
And I remember the feeling that I had was like fucking floating through space with every bone in my body broken.
Yeah.
It's like the dislocation, the thing everyone wants, we all want, is someone that brings us and makes us better.
Right.
And I'm not going to blame this on this woman, but she made me worse.
Right.
And I think taking my own bullshit with it and pouring it on top, maybe did it. I don't fucking know. I'm not a psychologist or even a writer in that perspective. Or a poet. But I have friends whose wives in their relationship have made them 10 times the men they would have been without. I know it because I knew him before, and I could see the after, and I'm like, motherfucker, So that's what if this app can bring people to that point, man, it's fucking.
I think that
cool.
you have to be deeper. I mean, I'm barely 5'7" now because I've shrunk about 2 inches, literally, from carrying stuff my whole life.
Roofing is
it's a rough business, man.
It's a rough business,
and. But when I meet women, they dig me, right? Because they get to know my character. So what I'm trying to do is share your character before, because you need a number of people to meet. So I'm hoping that this app brings character to who you are instead of just a picture and just the stats on you,
Or possible bank account.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, too many women are worried about what you have instead of what you can accomplish with that guy. If you gave him your love and he gave you his love, God knows what people can accomplish, because love is a very, very amazing thing.
It is amazing. Powerful.
It's the grease on a wheel, man. It's everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really good. So this was a great interview. You want to close out with something?
There you go.
Okay, thank you.